session, we are going to discuss about the most important topic. That is nothing but the things what we need to advocate or construct history. Sand, stone, cement, bricks are the main things for the construction of house. Tires, motor, mechanical parts, metal are the main things for the manufacture of vehicle. By the help of these things only, we can construct house as well as manufacture vehicles. Without these things, construction and manufacture is impossible. These sand, cement, mortar are called as sources. Like this, some things are needed for the construction of history. It means with the help of these things only, we can assume or advocate history. So today, we are going to discuss which things are needed to construct history in the first lesson of history, sources. I told you that sources are the things which is needed for the construction of history. But what is history? History is a systematic study of past, which is written on the basis of sources. Hence, there is no sources, no history. The person who studies and writes, narrates, research the past events is called as historian. Historians collect the sources, subject them to critical examination, analysis, and then write the history. Whenever direct sources are not available, they need to make assumptions, it means imaginations, based on available sources. Sometimes historians assumes the situation. For example, the celebration of Diwali in the time of Rajputs, actually they don't know how it was celebrated. But they used to narrate the celebration was very grand, king and queen were participated. So like that, even though directly there was no proof, but by the available source, they assumed it. Okay, let us come to know what is a source. Human beings had created many facilities to lead their life since ancient times. If the things used by human beings in the past have remained them, they are called as sources by the historians. Example, agricultural tools left by the earlier people, forts, coins, inscriptions, arms means weapons, temples, religious buildings, etc. Similarly, the written documents and literary works are the main sources of history. The material needed for the writing of history are the primary sources. Sources can be divided into two. One, literary sources. Second, archaeological sources. Literary sources. There are two types in literary sources. One, written literature. Second, oral literature. Written literature. It is the main source of literary source. It brings the detail of contemporary social life of the time when the writer alive. There are two types in written literary form. One, native literature. Second, foreign literature. Native literature. The literature created by Indians in native languages like Sanskrit, Prakrit, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, Marathi, Kashmiri, Gujarati, Oriya, and in many other native languages are the sources. Kautilya's Arthashastra, Hala's Gatashaptashati, Vishakadatta's Mudra Rakshasa, Kalhana's Rajatarangini, Banabhatta's Harshacharita, Chan Bardai's Prithviraja Raso, Pampa's Vikramarjuna Vijaya, Sangama literature, and many other such literary works can be named as native literature. These works explains the contemporary social, religious, economic, cultural, and political life of people. Foreign literature. Many foreigners who visited India as travelers, ambassadors, businessmen, officials, and missionaries have recorded their observations and experience in their works. These works considered as foreign literature. In an easy sentence, we can say foreign literature is nothing but a literature created by foreigners in foreign language. Megastanis Indica, Fahian's Go Koki, Huan Sang's Siyuki, Ptolemy's Geography, Ferista's Tarikh-e Ferista, Babur's Tuzuk-e Babri, and others are the important sources. Apart from these, there are many other writings that serve as the sources. In these works also, one can get the detail of the contemporary social, political, economic, cultural, and administrative aspects. Exaggeration and loyalty to one's master are apparent in native literature. It means most of in our native literature they have shown loyalty towards their king. Similarly, in foreign literature, due to lack of local knowledge, many misgivings are recorded because they are not aware about the local person or local king or about his bravery. So that's why many misgivings are recorded. These are the drawbacks of written literary sources. Historians have the challenge of writing history keeping in mind all these limitations. So being a historian is not an easy task. They should keep all these things in their mind. Second form, oral literature. Oral means the literature which is present orally. It is not in the form of writing. Oral literature means the folk story, folk songs, folk legends, ballads, and others that pass on from one person to another by word of mouth. Since the beginning of human life, human beings are passing on their experiences in the form of story, songs, and ballads orally from generation to generation. The folk people have created ballads about their local heroes. There are many ballads on Kumararama, the Nayakas of Chitradurga, Kempegowda, Tippu Sultan, Sangolli Rayanna, Kittur Chennamma, Sindura Lakshmana, and many others. Legends means the local mythological stories. Every place will have their own legends. There are legends behind the names and places like Stravanabelagula, Bengaluru, Koppala, Pattadakallu, Gokarna, Mysuru, and even Chikmagaluru. Similarly, every village and town have their own legends. So take it as a homework. You just write and give me that how our town got the name Chikmagalur, because there is a legend behind it. So children, in this session we learned what is the sources, what is history, who are called as historians, what are the kinds of sources, and what are the kinds of literary sources, and what is the meaning of legends, and so many things.